Hello, my name is Tom Olson and I'm with the Parks and Recreation Department, and I'm going to give you a few Tom's tips today and about gardening. That's my bag. I love plants, so I'm going to share some of that with you today, and hopefully we'll be visiting you again periodically, and I know I will because I got too many tips to keep to myself. First of all, I'd like to talk to you about fall vegetables and winter vegetables. We need to do that now because it's always wonderful to have your own vegetables right at your doorstep. Don't have to go to the grocery store. You know what you've done, you've grown them and they're just wonderful. Right there to harvest. So how we're going to start with that is I have here a plastic pot. You can get them larger, you get them clay, but this one I kind of like because it's a decent size, it's not too heavy, and it doesn't take up a whole lot of soil. Now, before I put my soil in here, I want to just share with you a little tip, a Tom's tip. You can see I like Crush soda, but this is a soda bottle. I recycled it, I emptied it, cleaned it out, put water in it, put the cap back on it, and I just place that down in the bottom of this pot. Now what this does, it displaces a lot of volume of potting soil. The roots of our vegetables only go about that deep, and you can see how deep this pot. So we're wasting soil that displaces and saves you money on potting soil. Now the next thing I need is an excellent potting soil or potting mix. Do not use garden soil, much too heavy. Garden soil goes on the ground. This goes in pots. That's a big mistake a lot of people make, and it will be disastrous. So we've got our mix. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my great potting mix into my pot. And I like to do this to a level of about 1.5 inches below the rim. And that is so when I water, I don't splash everything out. There we go. Now, I have here, this is a store-bought plant. It's by Bonnie, and it's a peat pot. All you do is we remove this little plastic piece here, which is recyclable. And I break the bottom just a bit there so the roots will easily come through. Another little tip, a lot of times when you buy plants, they are dry as a bone and they're hard to re-wet. So I brought a little bottle of water, and I'm going to add that to wet that soil in that peat pot. And I'm going to plant this first in the center because this is rosemary. And I like to leave the tag just for the heck of it. Rosemary will kind of get tall, and I can shape it to be like a Christmas tree. And the more I clip it, the more it will fill out, and I can keep that and dry this rosemary and keep it in my shelf and use it in all my soups and stuff like that. But in the winter, holiday season, when it's a conical, I can put little red balls, green balls, and it'll be like a Christmas tree. So we got this moistened now, and I'm going to just dig a little hole here and plant that. I put it on the high side, about that much higher than the soil level. And I press that down pretty well. Now, you can buy all your vegetables already started. However, I like to do seeds because seeds on my own are very inexpensive to do. This is a Jiffy tray, and it comes with these little pellets, peat pellets, dried like this. They're dry. And all you do is you add water to these, and they expand about 3 times that size. And I'm doing that now. And we'll show you how that looks in just a couple of minutes. All right. Now I've already germinated some seeds here that have been labeled. I like to label them with the date and what the plant is so I remember. Now I've got a variety of vegetables here. Here's some basil. Always like basil. So I'm going to stick one of these in. This is a basil plant. It's already ready to start pinching, so you can already start using that in salads and soups and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to put this around the perimeter, so I just gently put that in there. I'm going to use 2 of them on either side of my rosemary. I've also got here, I started this is a marigold. Marigolds have a tendency to repel insects. So I want one of these, and it gives you a little color too. So I'm going to put a couple of these in here. You can't eat them, but it just helps keep the pests away. Got another one here. Put that here, and it gives you a little color, so it's not all green. And let's see, I think I have here, this is, oh, I like this. This is going to be a beet, 1 beet. So I'm going to put that in there. And now I can see that some of my seedlings in this tray didn't germinate. And I'm going, why not? They all got the same treatment. Well, it's because on the back of the seed packet, you want to make sure there's a date when this was made, produced. We want to be buying now seeds that say expires in 2014. These are 2013, so they're on their last leg. That's why I got poor germination. A lot of people think, oh, I can't grow seeds. It's because sometimes these seeds have been stored outside in the humidity in the store, and that's horrible storage, and that really reduces the ability to germinate. So all I did, my little peat containers are expanding now, but I just take, I'm going to use a few of these that didn't germinate, already expanded. I'm going to just take a few seeds from the parsley. I like parsley. And I sprinkle just a few seedlings in the top. There's a little hole in that peat container. And I just put those in, press those seeds in a little bit, label it, and guess what? About 7 days, I've got new plants that I can put in another pot. So I've got parsley coming now. I think I'll just go ahead and do one now to fill it in right here. Okay, this is my completed pot. I'm going to water this thoroughly. That brings me to this. A lot of folks have a problem with saying, I don't know when to water. I can't tell. I either water too much or not enough. Well, I found this little gizmo for less than $7. It's a moisture meter. And it will tell you, just by putting the probes into the soil, it'll give you a moisture reading. There's a little pamphlet that goes with it that tells you exactly what the level should be. It runs from 1 to 10. 6 is ideal for most plants. 1 is very dry. 10 is way too wet. If you're at 10, don't water it. If it's at 1, get on it right away. So a handy tool for you folks that say I have a brown thumb. This is usually the reason why we don't know when to water. Okay, so we've got an instant vegetable garden that we can begin even right now to harvest basil, rosemary, whatever vegetables I want. I just put a few parsley in there. That'll be germinating also. Now I'd like to take you to another Tom's tip, and that's to how avoid crepe myrtle. A lot of folks have crepe myrtles. They're beautiful plants. They're actually lilac of the South. But this is my plant from home. It's kind of nasty looking, but I'm going to show you with my little clippers here how to properly prune. And when you do this is not now. You want to wait till mid to late February. There won't be a leaf on this And usually, let's pretend this is a huge, huge plant. This will be someday. So when there's no leaves, you can see that I've got some crossing branches that are going this way into each other, and this way, some that don't even have any leaves on them. So I just gently go in and take some of those out. And I like to use this type of clipper. This is called a bypass clipper. Makes a very clean cut. And so I go through and I just remove anything dead, of course, and anything that is growing inwards. I want my crepe myrtle to go out. Now the murder part comes when we have large stems about the size of my wrist, and people cut right there. It's like cutting my wrist off. That really murders your crepe myrtle. So don't do that. Typically don't take any branches off that are bigger than your index finger, and you'll be good. Now there's one that I took off. Now also, right now we have leaves still on our crepe myrtles, but we have these little brown pods. So what I like to do is go and take all of these brown pods just beneath the brown pods. These are old spent seeds. And when I do this and clip this, remove it, it will stimulate this plant to send out a whole new set of blooms, and we'll get flowers all the way through November, which is unusual for these plants. But by doing that, you can extend your bloom time much longer. So, avoid crepe murder, and please feel free to contact me at any time if you have garden questions. I'm available on staff, and I'm here for you. Well, thanks for joining me with Tom's Tips.